Thank you for joining this webinar today. Today we're going to cover the aspect of AdWord campaign, essentially focused on how we can make our AdWord campaigns effective. So first and foremost, I want to just set up the context on the effectiveness of AdWord campaign and in what context we are going to talk about that. So in today's context, we're going to cover the key objective of AdWord campaign is going to be generating leads and primarily from text ads and on search network. So that would be the context in which I'll be talking about our the effectiveness of AdWord campaign today. Now, an effective AdWord campaign will be a campaign which generate leads for the business. That's the first thing. Second is those leads which are getting generated are relevant for the business. So obviously the leads which are coming in are making sense to the business or have some context which is relevant to what you are selling basically, and the cost which you're paying to generate that lead is making sense to the business. So let's just look at some of the 101 items on AdWords. I'm hoping most people here are aware of all the aspects of AdWords, but I'll just quickly cover the following things here. So what an ad group is, what an ad copy is, and these other terms. So I'll just cover one by one. And each campaign has multiple ad groups where you can logically group your keywords, and your ad copies will be part of each ad group. So you can have multiple ads in an ad group. Then keywords are the search terms essentially, which when they match with your with the keyword, the ads will be triggered. Then you have negative keyword essentially. If you're marking certain keywords negative, then your ads won't be triggered for those keywords. Then CTR is a click-through rate. So essentially it's more like, take an example, if your ad is getting impression, let's say 100 impressions on search network, and if it is getting clicked 2 times, then essentially it's 2% click rate. Quality score is in the context of your keyword. So Google rates the quality score of every keyword which is part of a particular ad group, essentially between 1 to 10, where it the closer to 10 it is, the better the quality score is called. So it's essentially a measure of how well you're capturing the search intent of the visitor with your ads and your landing pages and the search term. So that's what it comprises of. And then conversion cost is the cost you essentially pay for getting a lead. And so you have to set up the conversion in your entire campaign. So you have to first get a conversion tracking code from AdWords and then put that on the following page where you would take the visitor after they have submitted information on the landing page. Landing page essentially is a page where you would take the visitor to after they click the ad on Google search network. And remarketing essentially is a technique. It's also called as retargeting by other providers, but Google calls it remarketing. So it's a technique where you would bring the visitor who have earlier either be on your website or one of your web properties and or has clicked your ad and has been on a landing page. So you would want to bring them back and essentially show them more targeted and relevant ads. So that's remarketing. And search network and display network are the terminologies for where search network is where you are google.com, and display network is all the partners who are running AdSense program with Google. So those your ads will be displayed on their website. So that's essentially broadly what display network is. Now let's go back directly on to the point on running effective AdWord campaign. So the first thing we talked about is the effectiveness of a campaign is measured by fundamentally finding out whether we are getting relevant leads or not. Now it will be extremely hard for us to target that every lead every click we pay for converts into a lead, but we have to essentially narrow our campaigns in a way that we get better quality traffic rather than any untargeted unwanted traffic, right? So the first and foremost is to get the relevant search visitor. So that's the key aspect of getting a relevant lead, right? And then second element is converting those visitors which are relevant visitors into leads for the business. Now the second element would be, okay, so we understand this. Now tell me, how do we get relevant visitors? So The relevant visitors, you should essentially focus your campaigns in a way, your keyword selection, your groupings and negative keywords in a way that your ads get triggered only to the people, only to the visitors whom you want to sell to. So you are essentially going to understand the intent of the search visitor, and then so that's so that would essentially comprise of you know getting or showing your ads to the relevant visitor. And then obviously we want to encourage those visitors to click on our ad so that we get their traffic on our landing page. And then obviously once the click is done, right, the next important element is to ensure that we get the visitor to fill one of our forms, or essentially submit their contact information, so that we can connect back with them, right? Now so the landing page experience needs to be will be very important, right? And second is we should have information on the landing page which is relevant for the so basically there should be information on the page which essentially encourages the visitor to submit their contact information. So that's where so these are the elements of and how we can capture the relevant leads, and we'll kind of go into a little bit more detail now. Now this is a typical lead generation flow, or this is typically a flow of how the visitor comes to the Google, and then essentially you get it becomes a lead in your system. So it's you start with a search query, then the ad shows up, then the ad is clicked. After click, you take them to a landing page of the website, and the form is filled, right? And the lead is captured. Let's look at the steps a little bit closely with an example here. So we have these search queries which you can see here. So on a casual look, you may consider that all these search queries look similar or same. So you have Gate Coaching, Gate Institute, and Free Gate Coaching, and Online Gate Test Series, etc. Right? Now all of them seem to be mapping to an intent of finding some information about Gate. Now for the folks who do not know what Gate is, so Gate essentially is an exam which is conducted in India, which is for graduates who have done the engineering 4-year course and are appearing to do a post-grad degree in one of the institutions in India. So now we are looking at this search query here. As you see, on a casual look, all of them look pretty similar, showing that the visitor is trying to find information about Gate, right? Now let's if you look at closely, you would find there are patterns in this in the search query which will tell us that the intent of the visitor would be could be different and may not be same for all the search terms. So in the first 4, if you see, the visitor may be searching primarily for Gate Coaching, or essentially institute which provides the coaching for Gate. Now so that's the search intent which is looking to be captured in the first 4, and the last 3 keywords essentially are the visitor is essentially searching for test series. So test series essentially is the mock test which the question is. So now these are the 2 search intents we are looking at here. Then I've also marked some other keywords like free jobs and free in red, and these are further helping us understand the intent. So in the Gate Coaching jobs, you may notice that the visitor who's searching may be actually looking for a job rather than in taking up a classroom program, right? So similarly, the free stuff guys are essentially searching something which is available for free. What we suggest is to capture the intent in one group. So that way you will be able to group keywords with similar intent together, and a better quality score for your keywords, and better map the intent of the search visitor to your ad groups, right? So we recommend clubbing the keywords together with similar search intent. So here in this example, we have 2 search intents we have understood. One is for finding a coaching institute, and second is for finding for looking for a test series. So we can create these 2 groups in this example. Now, as a best practice, we should try to limit our keyword selection to less than 8 to 10 keywords in an ad group. Now, I'm not saying it cannot be more. What we are saying is when we start adding a lot of keywords, and Google does suggest to add keywords which are similar intent in the adverts. It will appear that you can add more keywords. So from a marketing standpoint, we have to understand whether those keywords are actually serving the purpose to be part of an ad group where we are capturing a particular intent. So we have to be we have to be selective and careful on that. Now, if you have fewer keywords, that can still be good, right? That will be even be better, but you just have to make sure that then you are not losing out on certain intent outside of that ad group, right? So try to map the relevant and keywords which are conveying the similar intent in one ad group. So that's the idea. Then I'll talk a little bit about how we can put keywords in our ad groups, right? So if you're starting a new campaign, right, we recommend that you start with the broad modifier match. So this is the Google has provided an additional ability for the marketer to trigger the ads only when certain keywords are part of the search term. So if you select broad match, then a lot of for a lot of variety of keyword search terms, the ad may get triggered. But if you specify BMM, which can be done by the plus sign, as you can see here, so plus gate plus coaching, right? If you see the central keyword in this list, the ad will only be triggered if the search term contains these two keywords in them. So it could be coaching institute for gate, or gate is good for coaching, or whatever. As long as these two keywords are there in the search term, the ad is likely to be triggered. So from a marketer standpoint, at least you want to limit the ad impression only when somebody is actually searching for these two. Now I'm sure there could be still variations in terms of what they are and what the intent is. So if let's say they are doing a free or jobs or something like that, then you have to mark those keyword negative, because what you want to really capture, the intent there is a student who is searching for gate coaching, and you don't want to show your ads for free stuff guys, or maybe the jobs, people who are searching for jobs. So that you can limit by marking those keywords negative in your campaign, in your ad group. Now again, you would want to do that only if the intent is to not show your ads on free. I mean, a lot of people do not mind showing ads on free because it helps them create an awareness of for their business. And now, if that is the case, then you don't have to mark free as negative. Then what we recommend the marketers to do is regularly look at your search terms, because what happens is even in BMM you may not be able to exactly control the impressions to unwanted and untargeted impressions. Now, so regularly you have to keep on looking at your search terms, and that you can find in the dimensions tab. And if you select and view the search terms, you will be able to see all the keywords which have triggered your ads in the past. So you can, using that, you will be able to exactly find out for the search terms for which you actually paid for. So you have to keep on looking at them, and you may find some funny keywords coming up in the search terms, and that may not make sense for the business. So I'll take an example here. As you can see, this is one of a snippet of our AdWords, one of our campaigns, ad groups. Now, if you see, we have when we started off, there were some keywords like samples of landing pages and stuff like that. Now, we do not wanted so we realized that the folks who are looking for samples have a different intent, and the folks who are looking for Facebook have a different intent. So so essentially we broke them into several groups on our side, and essentially better captured the intent as relevant to there. So if you see, all of them are here, but we kept on looking at these search terms and figured out and refine our campaigns as we found keywords which are not mapping to the intent which we originally thought of, right? So that way you can refine your ad groups continuously after by looking at your search terms. So that's a very important part of your campaign. So please make sure that you regularly do it. So when I say regularly, it could be every day or every alternate day, or depending on how much traffic you are actually going for. If you get only few clicks a day, then obviously you can do it in a week also. So now I'll jump onto the ad copy here. So as we're talking relevant stuff, right? How to get relevant leads. So that's just look at this in that context. So obviously the important thing is the ad copy should have ad group keywords. So gate coaching should be there in your ad copy. And when you do so, what happens is when these ads are triggered, Google highlights the keyword if it matches with your title. If your headline, the key line in the ad, if it matches with one of the search terms being typed in, then those are shown in the bold blue. I'm sure you would have noticed that. So that is important, so it catches the attention of the visitors. Then in the ad copy we should have some USP mentioned there. Now this can be difficult for a lot of people, let's face it, right? Not every company has it should have a USP, but not it is not easy to put that in the limited keywords there, right? So so that it's always a struggle. Marketers always struggle with that. So we can so think of something, and I'm sure everybody can find some relevant language, but try to spend some time on putting that sort of line together. And then after writing the USP, we need to ensure that there is enough information out there in the last line, which is the call to action, I would call, where we are giving some information which is letting the user quickly click on it and go to your landing page. So you should have some information relevant in that area as well. Now I'll talk about bid and budget here. So the bids, there'll be a lot of questions I believe there. So how high we should bid or how low we can go, those are the questions. So I think it's the simple way to look at it, or one of the ways I would recommend you look at it is, first is we should bid high enough to get impressions and clicks. We should bid high enough so that we are getting good CTR on the search network, right? Once we achieve that, we can start optimizing the conversion cost by looking at various factors in terms of the CPC for each keyword, and so on and so forth. So that stuff we can take care. So obviously we don't want to bid very high so that the cost per lead is not making sense for us. So we should optimize that part, right? The CTR should be at least over 1%, right, in the search for the search network. And we should so once we achieve the two, we are getting good impressions, we are getting good clicks, and we have a good CTR. Then we can look at optimizing our conversion costs. So that's so when it's optimizing, meaning we can start lowering the bid for certain keywords to see where we can cut our conversion cost. Then budget. So essentially the way I would one should look at the budget for a particular for AdWord campaign is essentially you are buying clicks. So that's how you should look at it. Now the cost of click is is controlled by multiple factors, obviously which position you want that to be, what is your quality score and stuff like that. But the way I would look at it is that you're buying click, and how much ever you want to pay for that, you can multiply the number of clicks into that, and that's where it will start. So that would be the fundamental way to look at the budget, that you're buying clicks, right? And then the other factors are there, like quality score and stuff. So if your quality score is high, you essentially pay less for the click, and for the same budget you'll get more clicks. So that's another thing. But budget in a high level is can be looked at like this. And if the budget is working for you, if you're getting leads which are getting converted for your business, or is you're achieving the objective of that, then you can look at increasing the budget or decreasing the budget based on the outcome of your campaign. How do we optimize the conversion cost, right? So first factor of optimization is getting the relevant traffic, so attracting the relevant traffic. So we have to make sure that the keyword selection is such that the traffic which we're getting is relevant for our business, right? And then we use negative keywords to remove the unwanted traffic, right? We work on our keyword quality score. So the better keyword quality score we have, the better keyword grouping in ad group is, we will pay less for the click. Then even if we may start paying less for the click, But if our landing page experience is poor, then also folks who are the visitors who are coming in may not share the information. So we need to make sure the landing page design is good, and then the offer on the page is should be encouraging the visitors to share the information. So all these will help you optimize the conversion cost. But I can tell you the most important factor where marketers actually pay heavy is the landing page piece. A lot of them do not pay attention to it, and that is where they actually suffer the most. I would say landing pages, so obviously everything is important, but landing page is where the most mistakes are being made. So you can definitely look at so just take an example. I mean, if I take some simple example here. So if the landing page if you've designed a page and an offer which doubles your conversion, you are actually paying half for the lead. Just take simple example like that. So these are the 4 or 5 things I mentioned here, which will help you optimize the conversion cost. Then a pertinent question which is on the low quality score and how we go about fixing it. Right? Anybody who's done AdWords marketing would know these 3 terms. So any of the 3 or all of the 3 would be the factors why you have a poor quality score. Now it is very hard for us to get 10 out of 10, the best quality score, and I'm sure people do that, and a lot of people do that. But the fact is also true that a majority of the marketers are not able to do that. Right? That's also something which is also known. So how do we essentially fix it? So I mean, there's no simple answer, but for all the 3 elements you have to keep on working. So you have to make sure the CTR is high. You have to make sure your ad is relevant, right? So you work on your copy. If it is not right, you should. If your CTR for ads and keywords is not good, then maybe you need to change certain keywords in the group, or maybe you're getting impressions for unwanted keywords, and that is not mapping the intent. And then if your landing page experience is poor, then you keep on working on that. Important thing which you have to understand here is what's the Google's intent essentially is to serve the highest quality pages and ads to the search visitors so that they get a very good experience. If that continues to happen, then people or the visitors will continue to use Google search, and that's why people would not move to any other search engine for that reason. We had this webinar on AdWords, not webinar, seminar on workshop on AdWords recently, where there was an interesting question that why do I worry about quality score, because I can control my bid and I can control my budget. So that's absolutely that both the points are correct in the sense that you control your budget. Yes, that's right, and you also control the cost per click, which is what you are willing to pay for the click. So that's also good. But see, there is another perspective on how quality score is being used, or how it helps you. So first and foremost is if you have a higher quality score for a keyword, you actually pay less for the click. So the same budget, you will be actually able to buy more clicks. So that's the reason why you would actually worry about quality score. Now low CTR and how to fix it. So these are the key reasons why you have a low CTR on the ad. So you have a poor ad copy, the quality score is essentially bad, the ad copy is not relevant to the ad group keywords, right? The ad group has multiple type of intent being captured. There are low search volume keywords in the ad group. You're getting untargeted impressions. So all these are sort of part of the puzzle, right? Or you are bidding low for the ad group. So these are all would comprise for you to get a lower CTR, right? Now how do we improve? So this probably is easier than quality score, I would say. So you can remove the poor performing ads, right? Create new ads, write better ad copies. You can switch off the keywords with poor quality score, poor CTR. You can remove them or reorganize them into different ad groups. Relook at your keywords intent. I'm sure you will find new intents being mapped to that ad group. See if you can remove them off from that ad group and create a new ad group, right? And then use a negative keywords wherever you're getting untargeted impressions, the impressions which you are not actually which you don't want or are not relevant to the ad group, right? And increase your bid if needed, right? So that's about the CTR. Now I'll talk about remarketing. I think there was a question on that as well. So what is remarketing? It's so basically, in a simple term, remarketing is the ability, which it's not the ability, it's a concept where somebody has walked into your website or has looked at your website or looked at your landing page or some asset on the web. What you want to do is you want to go back to them, and you want to basically show them your ads or bring them back to your site. Basically, that's the idea. So if I'm focusing on remarketing in that fashion, I'll take an example of a regular business which we all probably are aware of. So if you walk into a shop or stop or one of those showrooms, you walk in there first. If the staff there collects your information, they can go back to you in an email format or a phone call and say that there's a sale going on, why don't you come back and we'll give you 10% off or something like that, right? So remarketing is exactly the same in the web world. So somebody comes to your site, what you want to really do is go back to them and ask them to or encourage them to come back to you. So that's in a simple word what a remarketing is, right? And so it is also called as retargeting so there are, but Google calls it remarketing. There are other players who call it retargeting. So so basically that's the what part of it, and why you want to do it. I mean, it's pretty simple why you want to do it, because somebody already knows about you, has looked at your offer, your proposition. You really want to bring them back and look at your offer again. So that's the purpose. And you already paid for a click, or already see, you do SEO, SEM, anything you do, right? It doesn't matter. You're spending money at the end of the day as a business. So if you do PPC, you are spending on click. If you do SEO, you are spending on person. Ultimately, the traffic which is coming in is the cost to the business. Now you want to make sure that you go back to that person again and bring them back. So either way, remarketing is very, very useful. Even if you don't do regular AdWords marketing, you must do remarketing. That's very, very important. Now, remarketing is run as a display ad campaign. That's the best way to run it, I would recommend, because then you can get grab the attention of the visitor with using high quality images, right? And then the best practice is to obviously get the images in a way that they're attractive. I mean, so that it encourages person to click on it. If you're running an offer there, please show the offer there, so that people, the visitors get to and are encouraged to click on it. So now that was remarketing. Then there is these are ad extensions. I'm sure you would have seen this in the search results, and probably most of you would also know about it. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about that here, so that at least you, if you're not aware of this, you get aware of it. If you're already doing it, then great. So site linking extension is essentially what Google wants to do. So I go back to the first thing we just said, is improving the search experience. So if somebody is searching for landing page and they exactly know what they're looking for, Google doesn't want them to go to your landing page and then let them fill the form. What Google is trying to collect from you is, show me the relevant pages on your website. Let me just show them directly to the search to this guy who is searching. So that way, if somebody is searching for a landing page pricing, maybe they will just directly click on the pricing link, right? So that's the Google's way of enabling improving the search experience of the visitor. Then call extension is simply a way for you to put your phone number in the ad, right? So that way, if somebody wants to really call you, if they're more comfortable in calling you, they can do so. Location extension gives the location address in the ad. So that information is available here. And social extension essentially is your 197 people like this in Bangalore, have +1 this, that kind of stuff. So that will be again be part of your ad. Now, very simply, I'm taking some few simple examples here as in how to set up campaigns, right? So taking an example of a real estate broker, right? I mean, you can set up a campaign by project or by a city. So if you're selling a particular project, you would want that type of traffic to come there, so you can set up campaigns like that. Or by city, if you're running ads in multiple cities, you may want to focus on setting up campaigns like that because the projects are in a particular city. Or maybe you can restructure like the campaigns like rentals or buys or sells, that kind of stuff. So taking an example of education institute, if you have in multiple cities, you may run it by city or by course. Again, one of the two options you can choose depending on which one works the best for you. And if you're a loan broker, then again, you can search for the by this. You can put the campaign by the city or by the loan provider or by the loan product. Now, because how people search is what will define your way to put this campaigns sort of together. I think that's pretty much it, and this is like a basic overview of the campaign. So I'm sure most of you guys would know that, so I'll just stop it here and we can stop for questions here.
All right, Nilesh, yeah, thanks for the wonderful overview about how to set up effective Google AdWords campaigns. I have marked a number of questions which I would want Nilesh to answer. There was a question from Sachin that what is better to buy in rupees or dollars in terms of ads, bidding for the ads, whether it's better to buy using rupees or dollars. Does it make a difference?
It doesn't. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, if you are setting up the AdWords in India, it will always show you rupees. But if you are setting up in India and running ads in US, I mean, whatever the conversion rate is, it's going to be applied to that. So I don't know how Google does the currency thing. I mean, obviously they would have some algorithm there, but if over a period of time, it's not going to match the exchange rate. So I don't think it's going to be a significant advantage in any way.
All right. There's a question from Ramesh. What is more relevant, display ads or image ads for highest CTR?
I don't have a good answer to that question. It depends. But the important thing is both will give you a good CTR if you run them with a lot of diligence. So when I say that, I mean if you exactly know which sites on where you want to run the ads, you will get a higher CTR obviously because you're taking a lot of area there. But if you are running a remarketing campaign, even ads, image, the display ads don't give you a lot of CTR. I mean for us it has been less than 1% obviously. So it depends on what exactly you are trying to do. I think that would determine which would be more appropriate.
All right. How to overtake a high-profile website or classified portal? This question is by Kishore. So he's saying that they are there all the way for all the keywords, but still at low CPC. So how to take over? How to fight with the people who have?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also a function of objective. You don't want to. The portals have their own objectives. What is your objective is important. So it's not getting always ahead of them all the time. I mean, they are going to bid for everything, and probably you won't even know. I don't know if you come from that industry, but they may be using sophisticated algorithm and programming based infrastructure to bid. So they will raise the bid by only a slight percentage and get a better get a better rank than you, right? Because they may be willing to and have the ability to invest that much. If you are from your perspective, what you should really focus on is getting as good possible or a rank in your AdWords, whether it's above, it's below that. These particular classified portals also is not doesn't matter. What is important is it shouldn't be at 8 or 9 or 10 or 11, right? It should be at least somewhere where it attracts a click. And then if you see, and I don't know if you have, and I have not experienced this personally, but I've read through at multiple places. If you do deep analysis in terms of adding AdWords and integrating that with your analytics, what you would notice sometimes is what has been noticed by advertisers who are high volume advertisers is that sometimes the ad which is on the third stage or at the third position gives them a better better traffic which actually converts and buys rather than being on the first place, right? So now that kind of insight is there. So getting the top position may not necessarily mean that you would get the best result. So I think the objective in my suggestion would be to see what the results you're getting, and if you're satisfied with your outcome of your based on whatever you're spending and what kind of leads you're getting, you should be happy with it, because That's what you're actually aiming for.
All right, Nilesh. There's a question. Can we have a separate retargeting or remarketing activity without going for AdWords?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're using Google's remarketing stuff, then you have to use AdWords, because AdWords is the only way, that is the interface which is going to be used for remarketing. So otherwise there are other tools which you can use to do remarketing. So there are tools like AdRoll and Retargeter Beacon and a couple of others. But AdWords is simpler. I mean, it's easier to use. And then the also important thing is, see, these you have to remember this if you're going to display networks. So what happens is, the Google have partners who will obviously display the ads which Google can serve. So these are typically your AdSense partners, right? Now, if you're targeting India, let's say, as a geography, and if all the visitors who are here, or all the sites or the publishers which are here, if they're using AdSense more than AdRoll and those other guys, right? Then even if you subscribe to other remarketing or retargeting network, if they're not able to give you the impressions in India, which is your geography, then how does it matter? I mean, it's not going to help, right? So Google obviously has a lot of publishers in India, and YouTube is one of their biggest, obviously, it's their own company, their own portal, but that gets a lot of impressions. So if you are retargeting, people do go to YouTube very regularly, so your ads will show up there, right? So so that's a big advantage of using Google's remarketing, and obviously AdWords is the only channel to use to start the remarketing. So you have to use AdWords. However, if the question was, do I have to pay for a fresh AdWord campaign and only then I can use remarketing? The answer is no. You can only do remarketing and no other AdWord campaign, and still you will be able to do it.
There are a couple of questions on landing pages. So one question is, how can you define ideal landing page? Another question is, we have an e-commerce site regarding landing page. Do you think directing them to product display page is better, or directing them to a sign-up page for promo is better?
See, if it's e-commerce, the business works very different. It's primarily focused on selling at that moment. Now it depends, right? I mean, there are businesses which are low volume e-commerce site, and there could be a more personal touch can give you better sort of results. So there you might go for a sign-up form, but mostly the e-commerce sites will directly go for add to cart kind of situation, right? So that's going to be the case, I would say, mostly.
There was one more question, Nilesh. What are the ideal traits of landing page?
Okay, so ideal traits of landing page, I think a lot is being written about it, but I think we have a framework for that. And a framework is a big word, obviously, scares people. But there is so basically an ideal landing page should have a nice headline. It should have obviously a form. It should have a call to action. It should have an offer. It should have an image, so that it looks good. It should have a testimonial, right? So those kind of things are required on a typical landing page to make it attractive, and should have enough information for people to fill. So what you should avoid is writing lots and lots of information on landing page which doesn't make sense to the visitor. You should avoid that. But even if so we have something called habits framework which we propose. There's a webinar on that on our website. You can access that and look. We have deeply covered that topic there. Maybe that will help. But there's nothing called an ideal landing page, to be honest. I mean, it's also a function of how well you understand your customer. So if your customer cares about a particular thing A, then you make sure that that is on the landing page. But in typical scenarios, we have what we use and what we have seen. We have come up with this, this sort of a habits framework, and it gives you enough information so that you don't miss on important items. So see the simple things like this, right? So if you are writing a testimonial, right, it is always good to see a picture of a person who is, who is writing, who is saying, or who's actually given you that quote or testimonial. It just makes people more gives them more confidence about the business, right? So those things, and again, they differ from industry to industry. So I'm sure you will take the right judgment in your respective industry. But I think that would be my sort of answer to this simple question.
Yeah, and I have shared a link, the question from Sachin. So Sachin, I've shared a link with you of a blog page. So we have like Nilesh said, we have a framework to create conversion optimized landing page called Habits Framework. You can refer to the blog and refer to our previous webinars on that. Let me move to other questions. So there is, I think, a follow-up question from Vikram. Sometimes classified portal take data from local market and merge similar vendor and make campaigns for it is beneficial for high rank, top rank, cause it will not show all of them. Vikram, I did not understand your question. Probably Nilesh could. Nilesh, can you?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he's saying, but I think what probably he's saying is, sometime classified portal take data from local market and merge similar vendor and make campaign for it. See, I think, Vikram, the objective is what do you want? See, if you think, here is my take on this situation, right? If you want to compete with them or you want to lead, if those guys are doing a better job of running a better advert campaign than you, let's say, right, then you buy a lead from them. I mean, why do you have to run AdWords, right? I mean, take a simple route. If you have to compete, then you have to figure out how to do that, right? So they will get a top rank not because of anything else. They will get top rank only because of the simple things which are laid out. Google will not give them additional advantage, on any other element. The elements are laid out very clearly. If they will get, let's say, if they are getting top rank, they may be spending more than you are spending. So can you spend as much as they are spending? If you cannot spend that as much as they are spending, then you won't get the top rank. Take another example. Let's say if they are spending 1 lakh per day and you are spending 1,000 per day, and there are, let's say, several lakh impressions available for the keywords which you and them are bidding. And you may have set up your campaign in a way that to show your ads evenly throughout the day. Obviously, they have a bigger budget. They can buy more clicks, so their ads will show up. And since you have a lower budget, you will not be on the top rank because you don't have enough budget to compete for that, right? You cannot buy enough clicks, so no way you can get the top rank, because you don't have enough budget. So nothing can be done about it. I mean, there is no way you can compete with that. So you have to have money, basically, right? If you want to compete with them. I don't know if I answered the question, but I think in a summary, if you have equal budget as they have, then you can have equal number of impressions. Probably that's how I would sort of not impressions, but the rank. If everything else is together.
Nilesh, so Masovan has clarified the question. So that's the last on the question panel. You can probably read it out.
If you type GATE coaching, the first ad coming up is GATE IIT, which had a description of GATE to the classes to top 46 rankings. My question is for different keyword, that is GATE exam. Can there be a different description for the same website? Absolutely, yes. You can have a different ad copy. So I'm sorry, Masoon, I couldn't understand your question first time. So yes, you can have a different ad copy. So you may want to group them in different. So you want to, what you would like to do is, if I have to do that, what you're saying, I would create a GATE coaching ad group and I'll create a GATE exam ad group. I'll mark in GATE coaching ad group, I'll mark exam as a negative keyword so that my ad for GATE exam doesn't get triggered in GATE coaching, right? And in GATE exam ad group, I'll mark coaching as the negative keyword, right? So, and if somebody types GATE exam, right, the ad copy in the GATE exam ad group will be picked up. And if I'm typing GATE coaching, the ad copy in the GATE coaching ad group will be picked up. Now, if you have multiple ad copies, Google will decide which ad copy has to be picked up. So that you cannot control. You can probably control the evenness of ad, but by and large, this is what you would be able to. Hopefully, you'll be able to achieve this exactly what you want to do with this strategy.
There's a question from Udit. How many times can we change keywords, or can we change them infinite times?
You can change them infinite times, but why do you want to do that?
What factors are considered by Google in rating the landing page with respect to increased quality score?
I don't have a good answer for that, honestly, but I think because it's not publicized or written clearly, but I think what it says is, this is what it says, right? So if you're saying you're selling, you're offering a 15% discount on some shirts or something, then you should exactly have 15 in your ad copy, right? Then you should have the same thing written on your landing page. You cannot have two different things, basically. So essentially, if you're proposing something and that matches with the with your that matches with the, if you're, let's say, if a visitor is searching for a certain query, certain queries there, and your ad is triggered, the landing page needs to have information which is relevant to that query, and that is the key way of how Google is going to determine your the performance of the landing page. Now, that is not the only one. The other elements are how quickly your landing page is loading. So if your landing page is sleeping somewhere, not loading quickly, then also you'll be penalized for that. So these are the various elements. So if your landing page is slow, it's not able to pick up quickly, then it's going to affect the performance of your landing page. So these are certain elements which are going to be important for you to keep in mind to make sure your landing page is above average performance.
I think we are kind of done in terms of Q&A. If any question is left to be answered, if we missed any question, please you can type it now. We'll try to take it up. Otherwise, we'll take up the questions in a Q&A blog that we'll publish after this webinar. So if any important question is unanswered, we'll publish that. I can see some questions coming. So Udit has a follow-up question. If my marketing budget is low and I am unable to bid high, then how can I increase my quality score or high CTR as my visibility will be low?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that, man. That's a tough one. If your marketing budget is low, then you should run ads on the alternate day, I would say. Or you should put, so if you want to spend, if you let's say 50,000 or 10,000 bucks to spend in the entire month, you would pick certain days and spend money on those days and don't spend on other days. I mean, that would be one way to look at it. You don't want to, let's say, you can figure out that 15 days you will show the ad, another 15 days, but you have to bid high. I mean, you cannot bid low. I mean, there is no way you'll get good CTR.
There's a question, can I publish my ad to my social network pages?
No, that's not your ad, that's Google's ad, and only they will decide where it's going to go. So if I understand it correctly, what you're saying is that the ad which you're preparing in Google AdWords, can you show that in network pages? The answer is no, because Google is going to serve the ad and Google will decide where to serve the ad. So if social networking site, for example, Google is not going to show your ad on Facebook, that's a given, right? It's not going to come on Twitter. That's not going to happen. Now, can it show on some other third-party site? Maybe if they are Google partners, then yes, the ad can go there.
Okay, all right. So I think that's the end of the webinar. So let me just show my screen to tell you what are the places where you can find more information. So I hope my screen is visible now. So you're welcome to look at the website. You'll find a number of blog articles, the past webinars, which will have relevant information. We are conducting another webinar next Thursday, where we are going to talk about B2B email marketing best practices. You're welcome to join that. The link is available at leadsquared.com/upcoming webinars. So with that, I thank all of you for joining this webinar. I hope you found the content relevant, and thanks a lot for a number of very good questions. We'll be sharing the PPT and the recording of the webinar shortly. And if you happen to have any questions around Google AdWords, then you're welcome to write us at sales@leadsquared.com. Thank you and have a wonderful day and wonderful week ahead.